here are 3 games on Game Pass that I highly recommend you play. They're not necessarily new, they're just 3 games that I really loved. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is one of the most ambitious entries in the Assassin's Creed franchise, and for many players it's considered one of the best. For me, it is considered the very best. So, it's set in ancient Greece, it's a massive open world which is actually so stunning. The visuals are unreal, it's one of the best looking games I've ever played. Every part of the map, the busy cities like Athens and the quiet little villages, the vineyards, the seas, the mountain ranges, everything in this game is just spectacular and beautiful. The music is amazing as well. The whole vibe of this game is truly a piece of art. And even though this is one of Ubisoft's largest maps to date, this particular world just doesn't feel empty. Unlike Starfield, where you've got loads of space but nothing really noteworthy filling that space, with this game the exploration is actually meaningful. You know that you can run into a hidden secret or find a new quest, or it could even just be people getting on with their daily lives, the hustle and bustle of cities and marketplaces. Whatever it is, it fills the gaps and it just keeps the world alive. But I also love the fact that there's plenty of sea action too. So I'm not actually a massive fan of that side of gaming, like, oceans and ships and stuff like that. But in Odyssey, it genuinely is quite enjoyable. There's naval combat, you can upgrade your ship, recruit crew members, and battle on the open waters. There's a real good balance between land and sea, and it really feels like you get the best of both. And obviously you'll need a ship anyway to travel to certain areas. There are multiple little islands around the map, and yeah, it's pretty much essential. The role-playing elements are much deeper than older Assassin's Creed games. You can choose to play as either Alexios or Cassandra, and as you expect with RPGs, there is branching dialogue, and some of your dialogue choices will actually impact major outcomes in the story, so that's always good. The combat is really nice and fluid. Whether it's close combat or stealth with your bow and arrow, it all feels pretty satisfying. The skill trees are pretty decent too, there's plenty to choose from, and it allows you to craft your playstyle however you want, and the gear is another big win for me. Armour sets and weapons that are inspired by Greek legends like Achilles or Agamemnon. They don't only look impressive, but they also come with like a complete set bonus which enhances your abilities. And it's just so cool to be able to wear like the full Achilles set. One of Odyssey's strongest points is how it blends history with mythology. Although the storyline is fictional, there are historically accurate elements such as locations, historical figures, cults, etc. But then the story slowly starts weaving in elements of Greek myth. By the time you actually encounter creatures like the Minotaur or Medusa, it feels like the game has seamlessly shifted from historical epic into legend. You do start off thinking, ancient Greece is cool, but mythology's cooler. Are we going to see any of that? And then when you do, it's such an awesome payoff. The story is really enjoyable, it has memorable moments, some of them are really epic, some of them are really sad. And there's a cult thing going on the side, where you kind of have to hunt down cultists and figure out who the cult leader is. Like, that is some whole other thing that you can either do or ignore, but it's great fun and I would recommend it. All in all, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is a game that offers hundreds of hours of content, whether you're focused on the main story, the side quests, or simply exploring the world, as I tend to do. It's a real dream for completionists, and it's perfect for anyone just looking for an epic RPG adventure with satisfying combat, stunning visuals and music, and a world that actually bothers to reward your curiosity, which is important to me. And with it being on Game Pass, this is one of the easiest recommendations to make. I highly suggest that you give this game a chance. Forget what you may have heard about it, just give it a go and decide for yourself. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is something else. I love this game. I played this because a YouTuber who I follow, Mr. Matty Plays, fell in love with it and recommended it, so I trust him. So I downloaded it from Game Pass, set aside a couple of hours and told myself, you know what, I'm going to give this a fair shot, 2 hours today, 2 hours tomorrow, and see where we're at from there. It took me less than an hour to recognise that this game was special. Straight away, I was in love with the visuals and the music. Hauntingly beautiful is the best way I can describe it. And that's everything about the game, not just the visuals and music. It's the story, the dialogue, the characters, their emotions and facial movements, the voice acting, the pace and the tone. It was all hauntingly beautiful. I had so many emotions playing this game. I felt sad, hopeful, I laughed, I teared up, I felt like a hero, and I felt powerless. Like, this game puts you through all of the feelings. So for those who don't know much about it, the game is pretty much a JRPG. It has that style, although I don't think it was made in Japan, so you can't call it a JRPG technically, but you will get JRPG vibes. You have a party, you level up, you find or buy new equipment, the combat is turn-based and strategic, it's pure JRPG vibes. However, if you're like me and you don't want to be too strategic with the combat and you're more in it for the story, then you don't have to stress too hard about that. You can keep it quite simple. But for those who do like to explore the intricacies of combat, there is plenty to it. You can dodge, parry or jump to mitigate damage, each with its own timing and risk. So parries, for example, they're a high risk, high reward function. They'll give you extra action points and even counter attacks if you time them perfectly. Every party member brings unique mechanics. So you've got projectile shooting to target weak points or strip enemy shields. You've got break skills that stun enemies once the meter fills, and then there's Pictos and Lumina, which customize your stats and abilities. You can go quite in depth with this to really configure your character, really create the ultimate build that works for you. The companions also add their own extra unique layers to the combat as well. So to summarise what this masterpiece is all about, spoiler free of course, Clair Obscur is a fantasy game which is set in the city of Lumiere, which lives under the shadow of the Gommage. So the Gommage is basically a ritual of death, which is unleashed by a mysterious figure known as the Paintress. So basically, each year, the Paintress ascends her tower and paints a single number, and every person of that age is erased from existence. If she paints the number 40, all the 40-year-olds fade away into nothingness. And people are aware of this, they expect it, and it just gives the city like a really gloomy and depressing atmosphere. But at the same time, somehow it's beautiful because everybody knows that their time is up soon. Everyone knows that life is way too short, and I feel like because of this, people are so much closer and they really cherish their time together. Anyway, in response, the city sends out expeditions. So these are desperate journeys to basically confront the Paintress and break the whole cycle. All of the previous expeditions have failed, and as the player, you take command of Expedition 33, hence the title. Expedition 33 is the latest expedition to journey across the land and confront the Paintress, and that's what the game is. And another cool thing about this is you'll come across journals from previous expeditions, and in these journals you'll hear the voice of the people that wrote them. You basically learn about their quests and their findings and also their downfall, and that aspect of the game really brings the story and the world together. It really makes you feel like you're part of something important. But all in all, this game is a story. It's an immersive experience. It's not groundbreaking in terms of combat or progression or exploration, but it's easily one of the best stories in a game, and it will have such a lasting impact on you. A true gem. Finally, the Outer Worlds. When I found this game, I was pleasantly surprised. Most of us love Fallout, and that there is a very similar vibe going on here. I mean, it's a completely different setting, but it's also similar in so many other ways. This is a single-player action RPG adventure with the feel of an open world. Although it's technically not open world, it's like an expansive linear world, so there's still loads of exploration and wandering around, and there's travel between planets. And so it definitely scratches that exploration itch for sure. The progression is great, you've got skills and perks, there are dialogue options, there's actions with consequences, companions, factions, workbenches, modifications, slow-mo and combat. It's a complete RPG experience. The visuals are also really nice, it's extremely vibrant and colourful. The tone isn't too serious, and it's just a nice casual game with some dark moments and some emotional moments, but mostly it's just like a great fun time. The storyline is pretty short, but there are loads of side quests and there's DLC too. So I'm recommending this game because it felt like it kind of flew under the radar a little bit, and it deserves so much more recognition. And not only that, but Outer Worlds 2 is coming out very soon, and this would be the perfect time to play the first one and get yourself nice and ready for when the sequel comes out. But yeah, this game, it was so fun from start to finish. It's a well-polished, well-written, creative, unique game that is 100% worth your time. I think the fact that you can complete the main storyline in 6 hours or something is another reason that it just makes sense to give it a go. What's 6 hours in the grand scheme of things? It's a short game to complete, and it's a game that will stay with you for a long time, hopefully. I don't know too many details about the Outer Worlds 2, but I do know that it's coming to Game Pass on the 24th of October, and I do know that I'll be playing this game straight away. All in all, the Outer Worlds is definitely one of the better games that I have played, and it combines sharp writing, really interesting companions, and flexible RPG systems in a world that is very, very vibrant. It's an alien world, it's got a good sense of humour and is surprisingly replayable. I've played this game 3 times now, and while it might not be as big as Fallout, it feels tighter, it feels more fluid, somehow more personal, like it was made for me. Like it just ticked my boxes and I had a really great experience with this game. It's well worth playing, and with the sequel coming out soon, this could be a really exciting month of gaming for you, if you get along with Outer Worlds 1, which I'm sure you will. Anyway, those are my 3 recommendations. For those of you that do have Game Pass, obviously there are loads more games available, but these 3 are certainly special games to me, and I'm really glad that I gave them a chance, and I wouldn't recommend them if I didn't think it was worth your time. Now, as you may or may not know, I'm not very good at goodbyes, so